Okay, Donald Trump again is saying that coronavirus is dying out and it's just going to go away. Donald Trump was interviewed yesterday about his upcoming rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Disastrous idea. Dr. Anthony Fauci says, I wouldn't go to any large events, including this rally. Just not a good idea, not a smart idea, as a pandemic is still continuing to rage. Donald Trump said, nah, the rally's fine because coronavirus is dying out.
Coronavirus cases are rising in 22 states, including Oklahoma, where you plan to hold a big rally this week. Aren't you worried about people getting sick?
No, because if you look, the numbers are very minuscule compared to what it was. It's dying out. By the way, we're doing very well in vaccines and therapeutics also. I think there's going to be some big announcements on that in the not too distant future. But no, we're not concerned. Actually, Oklahoma has had a very low rate, relatively speaking. It is a little spike, a small spike for a specific reason. But no, we had over 1 million people apply. They have people now, days ahead, lined up. They have big lines of people.
So Trump said the numbers are minuscule. The numbers are not minuscule. We were at one point seeing 30,000 new cases a day. We are now seeing 23,000 new cases a day. That's not minuscule. As I've already told you a bunch of times this week, many states are seeing record spikes. Texas, Florida, Arizona, etc. We have more than 20,000 new cases every single day, people being diagnosed with coronavirus. But there is something that is truly chilling about Donald Trump saying it will eventually go away. Eventually it will go away. And his followers are so ignorant and so desperate for Donald Trump to be right that Trump, in a sense, is correct. It will eventually go away. And his followers are just ignorant enough that they might give him the credit for it, or at least say, look, Trump was right all along. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Eventually, even without a vaccine, eventually, if the virus keeps spreading and spreading and spreading, you're going to get to 70% of the country getting the virus. And that is the threshold that is believed to be the threshold for herd immunity for something that is contagious to the degree that coronavirus is contagious. Now, this is important to understand. Herd immunity is not a fixed number. For a more contagious disease, you need a higher percentage of immunity to get to herd immunity. So measles is so contagious that the estimates are you need 95% immunity to have herd immunity. Coronavirus is less contagious, as far as we know, than measles, dramatically so. And so it is estimated that you need about 70% immunity. Now, that could be a combination of vaccinations and people who got and recovered from the disease. We don't have a vaccination right now. So in order to get to 70%, we would have of 330 million Americans, 230 million would be infected with a roughly 0.7% infection fatality rate. That means about 1.6 million people would die. So Trump is right. Eventually, it will die out because so many people will have gotten it that somewhere around 1.5 million will have died, and we will have herd immunity. That doesn't mean Trump is handling this correctly. That doesn't mean it makes sense to have a crowd of 10,000 people in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Saturday. And it certainly doesn't mean that Donald Trump deserves to be reelected. So my view continues to be, if Trump gets another 12 to 18 months, this could wind itself down on its own, leaving untold death in its wake. And you will have Trumpists who will be reinvigorated and say, Trump said it would go away and it went away. I guess he was sort of right. We can't take any chances on that. Donald Trump needs to be removed in November. We have 4.5 months until the election, and then it's 2.5 more until he would be replaced with Joe Biden, meaning in 7 months total, right? We're talking about January 21st, 20th. We could have Trump gone. Coronavirus will, in all likelihood, still be a problem at that point in time. But we could at least start to go back to something that would actually resemble sanity at that point in time. In terms of the decisions you have to make over the next 2 weeks, I would go with Fauci over Trump. If you would go with Trump over Fauci, I want to know why. If Trump says it's safe to go to a rally with 10,000 people and Fauci says it's not, I'm going with Fauci. I also live in Massachusetts where there are no rallies of this size taking place. There are no events of this size taking place. And that's a very, very good thing. We have a fantastic program coming up for you today. I will remind you that you don't have to just watch clips on YouTube or Facebook if you don't want. If you prefer a daily 1-hour audio podcast, it's available for free on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Pandora, Spotify, etc. I think I'm forgetting some. And I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast. You can also let me know your thoughts about what is safe and what is not safe as of right now on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman. You can find me there. Just don't troll me. Please don't troll me.